What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, October 21st, 2023, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to just update you on the situation in the Middle East. And we currently have three nuclear war command and control planes up in the air over the United States. And this is extremely unusual. So, U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert. We have one that took off from Patuxent River and it's heading down towards Florida. We have one over Montana right now, which took off from Offutt Air Base. And then we have one over Washington State that took off from Travis Air Force Base. This is extremely unusual, guys, okay, to have three of these in the air at the same time, and they all took off from their respective bases at the same time, okay? So U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert. And this is after we had breaking news come in this morning that another U.S. military base in Iraq came under attack by Iranian backed militants. Apparently, this was the Al Assad Air Base in the Anbar province, and it was attacked by Iranian-backed militants with drones and or rockets. Several explosions have been reported. So this is the sixth U.S. military base in Iraq that has come under attack by Iranian-backed militants. So U.S. nuclear forces are on high alert. And so these planes are responsible for remotely launching all of the Minuteman III ICBMs, which are the ICBMs that the U.S. has in silos. So they can remotely launch them from the air if ground-based command and control gets wiped out, if the launch centers on the ground get wiped out in a nuclear attack, they could still launch the missiles from the air. And these planes can also communicate with our nuclear armed submarines. They can send out nuclear attack options and launch orders. Okay, so these planes are critical in a nuclear war, and we have three of them up in the air right now. Okay, so Israeli intelligence assessments confirm that Hezbollah will engage in war if Gaza is invaded. This was reported by the Israeli newspaper Yedioth Ahronoth. And the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the Israeli War Cabinet had a meeting at the headquarters of the Israeli Army's Southern Brigade, which includes the Gaza Military Division. Okay, so they were having meetings today with the War Cabinet and Netanyahu, and the meetings they were having were with the Gaza Military Division. Okay, so these could be the final meetings before they go into Gaza potentially. And the Israeli National Security Council is telling Israelis to leave various countries throughout the Middle East and in Indonesia. So they're telling Israelis to leave Turkey, the UAE, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Malaysia, Maldives, and also Morocco. Okay, so that is huge news right there. The IDF says it's continuing preparations for the next stage of the war, including ground operations. And the USS Bataan Amphibious Strike Group and the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit apparently already arrived in the Gulf of Aden 3 days ago. However, it's uncertain if they have entered the Red Sea yet. So, this is that Marine Expeditionary Force that was moved from the Persian Gulf, supposed to go to the Red Sea to back up Israel. 2,500 Marines on board and a bunch of aircraft and all kinds of stuff. So apparently they already entered the Gulf of Aden 3 days ago. Okay, so they're basically already in position, I'm sure. And the second U.S. aircraft carrier, the Dwight Eisenhower, should be arriving in the Eastern Mediterranean any hour now. An explosion near the Israeli embassy in Cyprus occurred overnight. 4 suspects of Syrian origin were arrested by local police. And in Lebanon, apparently Israeli reconnaissance planes have been flying over Eklim al Tufa, which is like central Lebanon. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is moving some of its members towards the Israeli border, sparking concerns a new front could open. The IRGC has been redeploying fighters from the eastern Syrian city of Deir ez-Zor southward to an area close to Damascus, according to a Syrian government advisor. And apparently, according to this advisor, some of the redeployed IRGC forces were also missile experts. Okay. So Iran is moving their forces into Syria close to Israel. Okay. They're moving their IRGC fighters to Damascus. Okay. To attack Israel along with Hezbollah. I'm very concerned that there could be a multi-front war opening up and that Israel could get attacked from various directions, okay? And I showed you guys some of the pictures this past week of these buses that have been used to shuttle in these various types of jihadists that were recruited to fight against Israel, basically volunteers that want to go and fight against Israel. Apparently, Erdogan's partner, Devlet Bahçeli, leader of the Turkish nationalist MHP party, gave Israel a 24-hour deadline, and he said that if a ceasefire cannot be achieved within 24 hours from today, I openly share with my nation that Turkey must quickly step in and do whatever is necessary due to its historical, humanitarian, and religious responsibilities. It is our legacy to undertake the mission of protecting Gaza. Okay, so this is the right-hand man of Erdogan, leader of the Turkish Nationalist Party, saying if a ceasefire is not reached within 24 hours, then Turkey is going to have to go in and protect Gaza. Okay, and this is all biblical, guys. Okay, the Bible talks about these powers from the north, like Turkey and Russia, coming down into Israel, and they attack Israel in the end times, okay? Israeli officials said that any change or postponement in the operational activity is not related to international pressure, but to operational considerations. The goal of the operation is clear: overthrowing the rule of Hamas, and this goal will be carried out. Okay, so Israel is pushing back on all the rumors that Biden was pressuring them or Western governments were pressuring them not to go in. And it is a complex situation, guys. The Israeli military has to plan this out very well because they could be facing a multi-front war. So everything has to be planned out properly. The king of Bahrain, Hamad bin Isa al Khalifa, said there will be no stability in the Middle East without securing the rights of the brotherly Palestinian people and achieving comprehensive peace. Okay, so it's like every country around Israel is siding with the Palestinians against Israel. About 50,000 Israelis were displaced from 26 Israeli border settlements near the border with Lebanon, including Kiryat Shimona, and they were resettled because of the Hezbollah attacks on northern Israel. A Hezbollah senior officer, Naim Qasim, said if we weren't in this conflict, 3 IDF divisions operating in Lebanon would be assigned to the campaign in Gaza. We received many calls not to intervene, but right now we are in the heart of the campaign. Okay, so Hezbollah is basically saying that they are helping to pin down Israeli forces. And there was another batch of leaflets dropped over Gaza by the Israeli Air Force. And that's what you're looking at here. This is one of the leaflets. You can use Google Lens to translate this. And it basically says anyone who chooses to stay in northern Gaza, north of the Wadi River, could be identified as a terrorist. And we have a senior security official in Israel saying that Hamas is threatening the hospitals in the northern Gaza Strip so that they will not evacuate. So they're trying to keep people in northern Gaza to use them as human shields because they're afraid that as soon as the civilians leave, Israel's just going to start pounding them with airstrikes. So they're trying to keep as many civilians in northern Gaza as possible because they know as long as those civilians are there, Israel's not going to go in, or they're going to do a very limited campaign until those civilians are out. And this update is being sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, I have a special deal for you that My Patriot Supply hooked me up with, and it's a 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply and their 2-week emergency food supply. So to get the deal, you have to use the link in the description below this video, which is preparewith NYPrepper.com, and you'll get 25% off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply and 2-week emergency food supply. Now, these food supplies are freeze dried, so they have a 25-year shelf life if stored in the proper conditions. They come in rugged, water-resistant buckets. The 3-month emergency food supply comes in 6 water-resistant buckets, so they don't take up a lot of room. And you have 3 months worth of food, which should cover you for almost any scenario. There's a variety of different food in this 3-month supply and also in the 2-week supply. As you can see here, rice pudding, mac and cheese, creamy stroganoff, cheesy broccoli soup, chili mac, spaghetti. I mean, just a ton of different food here. So you're going to get a good variety, and it's also healthy, and there's no MSG. So get prepared, guys. We're living in unprecedented times. World War III could happen at any moment. And the 2-week emergency food supply is also great for people that like to go camping. You can get one of these buckets and throw it in your vehicle. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the 2-week and the 3-month emergency food supply from My Patriot Supply, 25-year shelf life. They also have a general store. If you click on their logo here, it'll take you to their general store, which has all kinds of prepping and survival items. So check them out, guys. I'll leave a link in the description below this video. And Defense Minister Yoav Gallant visited the northern border with Lebanon. And here's a picture of him with his men. This is on the border with Lebanon here. Okay, he had a serious meeting with the forces there, the Israeli forces. And I want to just read to you what he said. He said, Hezbollah has decided to participate in the fighting and is paying a price for it. We must vigilantly assess every possibility. Greater challenges await us. So he held a meeting with the 91st Division with the division commander, Lieutenant Colonel Shai Claffer, brigade commanders, and other regular and reserve officers. Minister Gallant received an overview of the deployment of the forces on the borderline and in nearby settlements and heard from the commanders about their actions to protect the settlements and to thwart terrorism in the area. The Minister of Defense held a dialogue with the soldiers and female soldiers in the field, expressed his appreciation for their activities, and emphasized that they must maintain vigilance and readiness for any action. Later, Minister Gallant met with mayors and councils in the north and insisted on the response given to the residents who were evacuated from their homes. The Minister of Defense reinforced the heads of the authorities for managing the situation in the home front in the shadow of the fighting. Okay, so obviously, they're concerned enough about the situation in the north that the defense minister went there, okay, to personally oversee the situation. We have the IDF Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, telling commanders in the Golan Heights that we will enter the Gaza Strip. We will begin an operational and professional mission to destroy the Hamas operatives. the Hamas infrastructure, and we will also keep in our minds the images, scenes, and the fallen from Shabbat 2 weeks ago. Gaza is complex. Gaza is dense. The enemy is preparing a lot of things there, but we are preparing things for them as well. Okay, so pretty strong words there from the IDF chief of staff. We have an Israeli morgue worker saying that the actions by Hamas are worse than what happened in the Holocaust. And I've heard some crazy stories. I have a friend who lives in Israel, and he was telling me some really graphic stuff that Hamas did. I don't even want to mention it here, but it's just unimaginable how evil it is. What they did. And what's really concerning is how a lot of the Western media is portraying this whole situation as, oh, Israel is the bully and they're bullying the poor Gazans, and they forget to mention that 1,300 Israelis were brutally killed and tortured, raped. I mean, just unimaginable crimes against humanity. Okay, where's the UN calling an emergency meeting for crimes against humanity by Hamas? Why don't they have an emergency meeting about that? But as soon as Israel says they want to go in and clean house, then the UN says, yeah, we got to do an emergency meeting now. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I will keep you updated. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon so you can get notified when I upload these emergency updates and also when I go live. When this war kicks off, I will go live 24/7 if I have to. So, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification set up, because sometimes when things are really urgent, I actually go live rather than post a video, because posting a video takes more time. I have to edit it. I have to upload it, versus live. I can just turn it on and immediately start, sharing information out. So, in real serious situations, I always go live. And I'll be back later on this evening with another update. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.